transaction, right? So one to many, the customer to one to multiple accounts. That is also possible. So the cardinality is 1 to star 1 to. You have just to think about it. For every time when you are drawing some class diagram, you should think about how many are possible. Then the account can modify the ATM transaction. What are the we need ATM information. So what type of ATM transaction? Transaction ID, date, type, when you run that particular transaction, and modify this. Operation names you can write in your own style. There is no, because it depends on the coding. Even the same coding also you are going to give different class names, but class name always represents some meanings, right? Without any meaning, you should not give a class name. So that you have to remember. So here you can see the generalization. Generalization means an ATM transaction withdrawal is possible. At least you can go for a transaction for a query, means an inquiry, and transfer. You can go for a PIN validation. You can change your PIN. So multiple operations are possible with an ATM transaction. So that comes under that. When you connect these two, you can use the generalization symbol. And here also account are different types: savings account, current account, fixed deposit, whatever it is that you can give here. So what are the possible accounts that you can give? At least minimum account number, balance. These are some. You can give many attributes, but at least you give at least one of the attributes and operations. Debiting, crediting, these are the operations generally we are doing. And not only that, we have many other operations also there. If you want to mention those things, these are samples, not when you are going for designing, these classes are not complete, right? When you're writing your code at the time only, the classes will be clear. So now you just represent minimum number of classes and minimum attributes. Okay. Is it clear, the class diagram? In class diagram, actually, the relationships also you need to remember. This relationship, what we call aggregation. Aggregation means it's simple, will be looks like this. Aggregation. This is also a type of association. Association means simple line. If you are drawing by connecting simple line here, actually association is not showing. Association looks like this. The first one. If you are not clear about one particular relationship, you can give the association. Okay, if you know there is an inherited relationship is there from the superclass to subclass, then you can go for the inheritance, parent to child. That if that relationship is there, you can go for inheritance. Okay, then aggregation and compositions that we are using very frequently. How it would be? Aggregation means, for example, an automobile and car. Automobile and car is like a parent and child, right? Because this car class belongs to automobile, because car is comes under automobile category. There are many automobile categories are possible. Many different types of vehicles are possible. All are child classes only, because it has some parent properties. But if you delete automobile, but still the child got exists, then you can go for use this aggregation symbol. Generally, if you use generalization means, you can use generalization also, but in generalization, if you delete the parent class, subclass won't be there. So, but if there is a chance, still the parent child class will exist even after the parent class, then you can go for this aggregation symbol. Then coming to composition. Composition means, for example, it's like a house and room relationship. House and room. Suppose if there is no rooms, you can call it as a house. So rooms will never separate into a house. Separate from a house. Hmm? These type of relationship exists somewhere, you can go for the composition. Composition is a would look like this. The symbol you should remember. Hmm? A diamond head arrow. But this is solid. The other one is vacant. This you should remember the symbols. Here means when a house is destroyed, rooms will automatically destroy. Okay, for such type of relationships, you can use this composition symbol. That is difference between composition and aggregation. Means the class 2, this one is room and this one is house. Okay, this cannot exist without this one. Suppose if class 1 is not there, class 2 won't be there. If house is not there, there will not be any room. Without parents, there is no child. Then you can go for the composition relationship. Then another is dependency. This is also a type of association. All this comes under association only. Suppose if you change one of the class properties, then the other one will automatically change. One is depending on the other one. That is called dependency. From the name itself, it would be clear. This class 1 depending, class 2 means you should give the arrow in this way. Class 1 is depending on class 2. Okay, then this is called, this dotted arrow is called dependency relationships. For example, this one is a realization. Here you can see dotted arrow with the solid head, the solid triangular head. Then we can call it as realization. What is realization? For example, here it is an order, person, corporation. So it is the relationship between the blueprint class and the object containing its respective implementation level details. What is it? What is this realization? Anybody is there? Anyone is listening? How many of you are listening? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
How many of you are listening there? I can see 94 participants in the list. But this is... Because using these things only, we are going to draw the diagrams. I'll show you that next class. Once I finish this, I will ask you to create star UML. This is an unregistered version which I downloaded from the net. This is star UML. You can also download star UML from the net. Unregistered versions are available. A licensed version is there, but then you have to pay the money. For our lab, all those projects we can do with this. We can do with this tool. Okay, this is the unregistered version. Everybody has to download. Try to download. It's freely available in the net. Just search in the Google. Okay, after this end of this class, I will give you time. Here we can see this class diagram. Class diagram represent is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
This is a class. Then if you want to attribute here, you can give attribute 1, attribute 2, like that you can give. It's very simple to drag and drop only. And If you want to add the operation, you can add operation 1, operation 2, like that you can give. It's very simple. So like this, you can see on the left side, is it visible? The left side, class interface association direction.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it visible? So all the relationships, it's ready-made relationships are there. You just give the relationships here. Suppose if there is another class, you can connect from class 1 to class 2 using association. And if you want to comment here, you can comment that stereotypes means the multiplicity you can represent here, 1 to star, like that. If it would be directed association, first you should remember I'm simply showing you. It will be, this is directed 1. If you want an aggregation relationship, here also you can add that subclass. Suppose then no need to give the class separately. Here it is there. If you click here, double click, you will get then association class means this, with the symbol it will come. The class also, otherwise you can click on the symbol and you can drag and drop here. Just click here and here. No need to drag and drop. Then you can create a class. Okay, if you want to create a class with a particular symbol, then double click here. Then you can see add subclass. If you want to add a subclass, just click on, then the relationships with that class will come. Just enter the values inside. And here, superclass, this interfaces. Interface actually here in this ATM we are not using. This associated class. This is aggregation. This is composite class, composition, relation. Suppose if you want a relationship composition, click on that. Then you could see a composition here. If it would be aggregation, I clicked multiple times. So this is aggregation that you can. It's very simple tool. So first, the end of the session, I will ask you to download from the internet. Okay, you might just Google it. Then you will get a download link. You just download and we'll start the star UML. Okay, you can directly draw. Why I actually I'm planning at least one you should draw in your observation book. Everybody is having observation book, right? Do you have an observation book?
Yes, ma'am.
Then everyone has to draw using pencil or pen, scale, any sketch you have to do. Okay, after that we can start in the tool. I already said tool is not mandatory thing. You can draw your ideas in a paper. But this one, we can, if you want to modify, it's very easy, right? You can click and delete. And you can modify, you can add something. It's very easy when it comes to the tool. That's why we are practicing tools. But you should be familiar to draw without using tools also. So first ATM I'm suggesting to draw in your notebook, an observation book, without using tools. After that, you should draw the same on the paper, this tool. Okay. I just show you. Let's start. Okay, next is object diagram. Object diagram means object diagram is instance. What is an object? What is an object?
Instance of class.
Instance of class, right? At a particular time. What is the class represent? That is the object instance, means instance of that particular class. That is called an object. So it contains set of objects and the relationships. So it's same like a class diagram, but no need of operations. So you just give this one is MasterCard card. What is MasterCard and card? Class name and object name. So in the first column, you should give the class name and object name. And the remaining relationships are same and cardinality is same. And you just represent, but here the difference you can notice. Here the attributes contain the values. Means it's when it is an operation, it's a particular instant, there is a number, there's a pin number, there's a balance value, there's a timestamp. The details you have to mention. You can give some random numbers, but that is the attribute. That is the attribute. Attribute with the value you should mention when you are drawing an object diagram. When it comes to class diagram, no need to mention the attribute value. Okay, but you should include the operations. What are the operations going to perform that particular class that you should mention in the class diagram? But when it comes to object diagram, you have to give the attribute with its value, but no need to give the operations. You should not give the operations. Generally, we won't give operations because that operation belongs to the particular class, not for that particular object. Okay. So when you represent class, you should give the operations. It's a part of class, but you should not write the operations for the object. So this is the example. You can see generalization, association, aggregations are given here. So instead of this double-ended arrow, we can give association also. MasterCard to savings. But we are not representing all the objects. We are giving only, because if you represent the whole object contains all the classes, means it will become a very sophisticated, very complex one. So we are representing only the minimum details in an ATM transaction. So you have a savings account. You are using a MasterCard to transfer. Here you are, what operation you are doing here? A withdrawal operations. When you are drawing an object diagram, you should not mention all the operations. It means all the subclass, like these are the possible classes. Means we can withdraw the amount. We can ask a query. We can do some inquiry related our account transactions, and you can transfer an amount from one account to another, and you can go for pin value. These are possible operations. But when you are going to draw the object diagram, you should not draw all those things. At least here only focusing on withdrawal. Withdrawal means withdrawal record is there. Then for withdrawal, you have a bank number and the amount you are drawing and at what time this minimum attributes will be there. And these are possible. But here we are not mentioning the particular attributes because this is the operation. This is the withdrawal operation is happening here at a particular instant. It's not possible to withdraw and deposit at a particular time, right? So when you draw the object diagram, you should mention one, not all operations. The next is component diagram you can draw. Are you listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Component diagram, actually this one is a very important. I will show, before coming to component diagram, I will show you some other, this is ATM classes. I will show you some other classes, then it will be more clear to you. This is the hospital management system. Class diagram. Here you can see what are the possible classes. You just think about the possible classes like reception, then doctor, then patient. Actually, the nurse is not included in that. You can include the nurse. Here it is ward staff. Mention as ward staff or nurse. Then if you have any insurance account and insurance department, then patient, laboratory, and pharmacy. If you want pharmacy, you can include that class also. So this is the class diagram of hospital management. None of the diagrams are completely correct or perfect. I already said it's our before coming to the coding, when you're executing coding, then after getting the final output, you could understand you made some mistakes and you need to modify, you can modify it. This is while designing part. Designing time, we are thinking for all the possibilities. Maybe some are not there. So it's not perfect one. So the same concepts you can draw in many ways. This is one of the ways. I could say this is one of the ways. So here you can see the relationship between these classes. That should be here given only association. Association, I already said, if the relationship is not clear, you can go for a normal association. Okay. You can go for normal association. Actually, this is a last. Okay, if you go for the hospital management system has wards and ward contain ward staffs. Ward staff attributes are ward staff ID, staff name, like that. It's an integer data type. It's a character data type. But you can, how to mention the class attributes and operations. So no need to worry much about that. What is the class name and what ID and what name is the, what are the attributes of that particular ward? Ward has an ID, what is the name? And these are the possible operations in based on that ward. What is that? Check availability. Is the rooms are available? Ward or room? You can give any name you want, and you can allocate the rooms and deallocate the rooms. Okay, these are the possible operations for the ward class. For the room class, check for the room availability. Rooms are available, then you can allocate. If the patient is already completed all the procedures, then you can go for the deallocation ward. So those are the possible ward operations. And when coming to before coming to accounts, this is actually billing part. So as a patient, you want to visit the doctor, right? So the relationship between a patient and doctor is he's visiting doctor. Or here, then doctor attributes and doctor ID and doctor name. And its operations are different operations you can give. He can prescribe the medicine, we can prescribe for the test, he can do the surgery, you can go for the test reports, and many more operations you can give based on the. Then this doctor is a part of an department. Which department he belongs to? That particular department has a department ID and name. And if you don't want to give any operations, no need to give operations here. Okay. So the patient has a patient ID, patient name, and patient details, whatever it is. Okay, if it is a phone number, what's a phone number? Or if he has any particular kind of card, you can give the card number, like that, details, and he has to pay the charges. These are the main, and another operations you can visit, right? You can visit the doctor, or you can go for testing. Those operations also you can mention if you want. So these are the minimum operations here we mentioned in this. So when it comes to lab has an ID name, and the lab can generate a report and generate it. These are generally lab is doing. They will give us a report and they will collect the money. So when it comes to reception actually generally for patient registry is there, doctor registry is there. That is not mentioned here, but register for doctor and register for patients also there. And they will receive the payment. You have to pay the bill in reception. You can do the inquiry. Inquiry is also another operation, belongs to the reception. Then the patient status also available, where he is, and what condition he is. He's undergoing in surgery, or he's admitted, he's inpatient or outpatient. All those details will be available in the reception. So that is a part of reception. And record ID and record name is the attributes here. So this these things actually you can write in your own notes. There is no restriction for that. These are the classes. You can give the class name, but whenever you give a class name, you should relate with that. On seeing this class diagram, the writer means the developer should get an idea about what he means. That's why we clearly mentioned this doctor department account. His can give. There is no restriction for class name, but it always sensible. When you give the class name, it should be sensible and it should be understood. Others should clearly understand. So the hospital management system is the hospital organization itself. It's what are the attributes for a hospital? Its location, its address details also attributes. You can use any of those address details as the hospital's name, right? So you can give hospital name as an attribute, and it's managed by details something you can give as a in the operation column. So this is the way we are drawing the diagrams, and you can modify this diagram in many ways. This is not a perfect one, but you will get an idea about how the hospital management system is working, right? What are the internal class, possible internal classes that is explained here, but you can draw in your own style. But you should not try to include all the possibilities. That's it. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Not like when it comes to the coding section, you have an output. But coming to modeling section, there is no output actually. This is the output. This output is also, there is not only one designer. There are many designers. They are giving, suppose if we give one input, they are drawing in their own style in different ways. That's why we are going for all this modeling type. It's not only one diagram represent every detail. That's why we are going for all the structural and behavioral diagrams. So 9 diagrams we have to draw. All 9 diagrams represent the sense. Actually, they represent the system. the whole sense. We won't get the entire picture from a single diagram. All the dynamic aspects and static aspects you have to represent using all these 9 diagrams. So once you go through all these 9 diagrams of a single project, you may get a very clear picture about what it is, what is the role, what is the objective, what are the, how can we implement it. Those details you have to get. That is the purpose of modeling diagrams. So when you draw the same diagram, you may have more than this number of classes. The number of operations will be different. The number of attributes will be different. Even the relationships also. Here only association we are using. Association is the basic of relationship. And if you are very much clear about the aggregation compositions, you can use that also. Here also it's that possibility is there in this diagram also. You can see the ward relationship, ward and hospital relationship, and doctor and department relationships. You can find out that what kind of relationships I have to give. Multiple departments are there in a hospital management system. And in every department, there are different types of specialists are there. So that relationships you can use, generalization rule you can use, association rule you can use, not aggregation also you can use. So that you can think and you have to draw. How many of you listen the class? How many of you can able to draw the diagram? If I give one question, how many of you can able?
Try, ma'am.
Okay, then I will give one question. Last time we done post system, right? Point of sale system, class diagram. Just try that once. Point of sale system, class diagram. Try it once. I will give you 10 minutes. Class diagram, not like class diagram. Then draw the object diagram also. Always you should draw the object diagram after the class diagram. Okay. Because represent the instance of that class which you have already done. So from that class, we will get what are the possible objects, what are the attributes of that objects. What is pose? Any doubts? Draw class or object diagram for point of sale system. The use case diagram we already discussed in the last class. Try to draw one object class diagram. Are you drawing? Are you trying now? Yes. Are you trying now? Hello? Are you trying or not? Are you trying to draw the class and object diagram for point of sale system? Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you tried? Okay. Are you trying now? How many of you are trying? How many of you are trying now? Try. Okay. At least some students are trying. You could see this is one of the okay, you may get another diagram, but already said here you could see what are the classes, possible classes. Coming to a point of sale system. Point of sale system means like a supermarket, right? So this is a manager. What is the manager? Manager name, manager address, manager details. Those are the attributes. Then what are the manager's operations? Manager may manage the stock. He may update the stock. He can add new items. He can manage the sales, and he may check the details, sales details. These are the possible manager operations. Then he managed the item. Item means item has its own characteristics and operations, right? And the items are a part of inventory system. So there may be a record. So inventory system contain its own ID and possible operations are updation, checking. And a supplier will supply the item, right? Who will supply the item? Supplier. Supplier has its own name, ID, address, and possible operations supply the items. And coming to item will be purchased by a customer. The customer has his own operations. Characteristics like his name, age, or details, whatever customer ID. No need of giving age. Age of the customer doesn't matter. So you can avoid those customer age. You can avoid. Then the relationship is purchase the item. Then next is after purchasing the item, the customer has to pay the bill. The bill payment is in the form of cash or credit card, debit card. If it is credit card and debit card, what are the attributes? Name and its card number. And if there is a barcode machine, these are optional actually. In every shop, this barcode machine may not be there, but you can include those possibilities also. Barcode reader. And this cash, credit card, debit card is in new applications also you can add. Means Google Pay, Paytm, those options are can use. So these are the possible point of sale system class diagram. Is it clear to everyone?
Ma'am, what's inventory system, ma'am?
Inventory system means what is the inventory system for a shop? Shop contain all the details of the items, right? Items inventory unit, inventory management unit actually that means that is called inventory system. That inventory system means you have to suppose if there is any shortage. For example, Coming to shop, first, who is the manager will give a list of items, right? What are the items we need in that shop? That we have a logbook. So once he collect all those, once he purchase all those items, and he keep everything on the shelf, and after that, whenever the customer is coming and he's buying the things from there, definitely there will be reduction in that uh, stock. So those things will be entered in the inventory system. Like we have to maintain a record whether that particular item is available or is it moving or how many are remaining. Is there any need to purchase more items? Those details we should be. That is there in
Okay, ma'am.
the
Understood.
backlog.
Incoming and outgoing and damaged material
Damage material
records.
details will be there. Is the moving items details will be there. If you want to purchase more items, means there is any shortage in the items, that purchased items and sold items details, sold out items details should be there. Some of the items completely sold out, then should enter that details. Those low books are there. That is managed by inventory system. That is a particular area. Like coming to shop, there are some shop managers are there, right? They are always coming. We can see they are checking whether the particular item is available in the rack or not, and they are writing something on the paper. Means they are taking the details whether the items are available or not, or how many pieces are available. Is there any need to order? On some items we ordered, or what is the stock? They are checking all those details and managing in background. Means the details should be there. So that's the inventory system. Inventory system is there in the background. That as it, when you draw the use case diagram, you don't no need to worry about the inventory system because it's a background part. But as a developer, you have to think about inventory system also, because the updation and deletion should be the updation needs to be done when new items purchased, when the items are sold out. That reduction should be there in the should be monitored. So when you draw the class diagram, use this class diagram and object diagram, you have to include. You can include an inventory system, but when it comes to use case diagram, it's not needed. As because this user perspective, user is not worrying about the background details. Okay, is it clear?
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So have you tried? How many of you tried? Just raise your hands. How many of you tried? Maybe this is not the exact one you got. You may get in another way. But how many of you tried? Out of 99 students, how many of you tried at least? Till now, I got only 10 response out of 97. So where the other remaining students are? Are they listening or not? Hmm? If you don't understand, please ask me now. Are you listening to the class? Hmm? I understood very few members are listening the class. Very few. Out of 98, I got 13 participants. 13 participants only. Even half of the students are not listening. Hmm? This is the problem. If any of the diagram is not clear, just ask me. 20 participants. Are they really understood or not? Okay, this is the number of students they tried. Okay, how many of you uh, understood these concepts? How to draw a class diagram, how to draw an object diagram. How many of it's clear? once you know how to draw this, using a tool is very, very easy. I already show you, right? You just click on that particular icon and keep on that. Just drag and drop. That's it. So using the tool is nothing to learn when it comes to Star UML. The thing is, you have to draw the diagram. That's why I told you to try practice using pencil and paper, because it's your idea how to implement it. What are the possible things? You have to think about it. You should try with some examples. Actually, as per the syllabus, okay, 31 participants I got right now. These are the number of students. Okay. The syllabus I will. Have you seen the syllabus? I'll show you the syllabus. Okay, this is the syllabus for laboratory. A team of 3 to 4 students will be assigned a case study by the faculty. So 3 to 4 member group is not possible because already we are having nearly 100 students. So 3 to 4, instead of 3 to 4, I will go for more number of students in one group. Anyway, I will create one group. The students have to identify the requirements, prepare an SRS report, identify the process model, and prepare the design diagrams using structure design analysis SAD, DFDs, or UML diagrams, object-oriented design. OAD, not OOD. So this is the laboratory syllabus. So here I will create a team, and the mini projects are point of sale system, online shopping system, e-library, a multi-threaded airport simulation, bank ATM, hospital management system, an auction application like bidding in eBay system, and file management system, credit card processing system, airport check-in and security screening. These are the 10 projects we have. So I will divide exactly 10 groups. Not 100. The 10 will be there in each group. 10 member group. Okay.
Ma'am, can we choose our own groups now?
Yeah, you can. Means it's better to go for the basis of your roll number, right?
Yes, ma'am. Best
Otherwise,
ma'am.
let's just go.
We'll choose our own groups, ma'am, please.
Yes, ma'am. Please, ma'am. Go according to the roll number. Ma'am.
Otherwise, some clashes may be there. Like
yes, ma'am. It's better
some
not to have any
students.
controversies, ma'am.
Yes, some controversies may come. So I think it's better to choose.
And there will be
Not
controversies if we go by roll number wise. So I think
Yes, ma'am.
it's better if we choose on our
Better
own.
to choose our own groups.
Yes, ma'am. If we go roll number wise, there'll be a group of people who won't even support, and one guy will
Might
be
not
doing
be
everything.
comfortable with each other. Yes, ma'am.
Usually, one person doing everything, and the other group is just sitting.
Then it's up to you.
Ma'am, we'll choose our own groups.
But at last, some students should not come to me that, ma'am, I was not chosen by someone. So,
Ma'am,
it's not good,
we'll
right?
make sure that we are 10 members exactly.
Okay, if you are confident in that, you can go ahead. But otherwise, I'm not happy with that process, like choosing someone.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
So, nothing. It is a very simple thing. And the point of sale system actually we already discussed. Use case diagram and class diagrams. In the same way, you can draw all other 9, like all other 7 more diagrams are there. So for every project, you have to go for this, and you should create at the same time. You should create a object. This UML diagram is not only UML diagram. Actually, they gave or means any of that. Okay, either this one or that one. Anyway, I will teach you how to draw the DFD. DFD also I will teach. But now we can start with UML. Actually, in as per your syllabus, any one of this is enough. But SRS, try to create an SRS document. Software requirement specification means you should list out all the requirements for the particular project. So how to create an SRS document, that also I will discuss in the coming class. But now we focus on the UML diagram, the last part. So point of sale system, online shopping. What is it? The particular system. To draw all these diagrams, you need to know about that system first, right? You have an idea about that system. So you should just read this. It simply mention what it is. What is an online e-library system? At least you have to know something. For example, if you draw one ATM diagram, as a user and as a developer, that both perspective you have to draw. So as a developer and user, how the system is working, you should have minimum idea. That is mentioned here in the syllabus itself. For example, a bank ATM, an automated teller machine, as a banking subsystem which provide bank customers with access to financial transaction in a public space without need for a cashier, code bank teller. The customer uses a bank ATM to check the balance for his bank account, deposit, fund, withdraw cash, transfer the fund, and these are the operations. An ATM technician provide the maintenance of repair. So after reading this, you can draw a use case diagram, right? Because an ATM technician is needed and bank system is needed, and what are the possible operations that also clearly mentioned, but not the internal details, how it was working. You have one credit or debit card, you have to go to the ATM, and that is the system, that is the system functioning that you have to know. Then only you can draw the remaining things. Like you need a card, that is not mentioned here. But for every system, for a hospital manager, you went to hospital many times, so you know how the system is working. So it doesn't matter. An auction system is like a bidding system, like a eBay system. If used eBay, like Amazon, what is the difference here? Here you have a bid option is there, right? In eBay system, auction is there. So this is also an online e-commerce site, but the difference is auctioning is possible. So eBay system is slightly different from the Flipkart or Amazon or Laptop. That is different here. Online system is mentioned. That also you are very much familiar with how the system is functioning. So it doesn't matter. For a point of sale system is a normal retail shopper, but the only thing is that it needs some barcode scanner, keyboard. The minimum facility should be needed: a credit card processing system, a printer. Then only you can you have to include all these things, but it's not mandatory for all the point of sale system. But all the possibility you try to include in your diagrams. Then airport simulation. Airport simulation means here you can see how the airport system is functioning. If you travel, if you travel using aircraft, you know how the system is functioning. So this is the airport operation actually. Multi-thread airport simulation means airport operation. You know, there are several runways are there, the gates are there. You should go to the particular gate and landing and you know that, right? Takeoff, how the operations are going on. Landing operations, the takeoff operations. So these are the only two operations possible in the airport simulation. So and one more is there related to airport, that is airport check-in and security screening. This is before you come to the gate, what are the check-in security part. This is another project. In that one, check-in security contain mainly the passenger, tour guide, minor, and a passenger with special need, means of disability. All those people have different types of security screening. I mean, Security screening is same, but there are for a person with a special needs, they will allow a flight attendant. Mm. If you need a support, the airport authority will give you a support if you pay an extra amount. So that type of things are you can include in that. A passenger with special need, so you can include. Then represent the process take place in the airport and serving needs of passenger. Once if you travel at least once, what are the procedure? Hmm? The boarding pass collection and all those things you have to include. Okay, if you have any ticket, you have to collect the boarding pass and screening of your luggages, your personal security check-in. Those all details you should include in this airport check-in and security screening. But when it comes to the other one, airport simulation is different. Here the flight takeoff and landing are the operations. Okay, so these are the difference when you draw the diagrams. Each and every diagrams you should not get confused with the operations.
Ma'am, we should choose the topic or you will give the project.
So it's I will give. It's based on the. You can see there are 10. There is no need of clash. So what I'm saying, mini project, the syllabus itself they mentioned the number, right? So the same. So suppose if
Yes,
it is 8 means the 8th group number 8 will get the project. Like that, then there is no need of clashes. So credit card processing system is also another. What is credit card processing? Suppose if you are, it's not getting a credit card. It's not related to that. Using a credit card, that is credit card processing system. Means credit card payment gateway. When you're paying, you're using a credit card. Then a credit card processing system is there. How it is functioning. For example, if you are going to pay an amount using a credit card, or a transaction through credit card, what are the procedure? So that is mentioned in the credit card processing system. So here you need a bank approval, right? Once you give the credit card, the checking process is there that done by the bank organization. That you have to, then only the transfer will be coming to the transfer will happen with the seller. So that part is called the credit card process. Very simple operation only. Only the payment portion. Coming to point of sale system, you have to start from the purchasing an item. At the same time, that inventory system, everything you have to include in the point of sale system. But coming to credit card system, that payment part only. These are the projects. So for every project, the team members has to create all the 9 diagrams, all the 9 UML diagrams. We will discuss in class. Okay, all 9 diagrams, structural and behaving diagram you have to draw, and you should create DFT. You should create an SRS for that particular project. So SRS and DFT I will discuss later. DFT is also actually SRS is a part of requirement gathering, and DFT is part of modeling and design. So when I will take the theory classes, I will explain. Okay, one more section is there, right? For those people, for I section people, I will discuss here in the lab too. The other people I will discuss in the class, and in the lab also will get a chance to get. Is clear about this project? There should not be any clash with the students' selection. Make sure that in every team contains, I think, minimum 9, maximum 10 members will be there in every group. Should not be there with clash.
Ma'am, when should we do this?
You can,
Explain.
okay, once I complete this, all 9 diagrams, after 9 diagrams, I'm explaining 2 applications now parallelly, ATM and a point of sale. But that
Yes,
is
ma'am.
one point of view. Okay, you can draw the other way. You can draw in your own ways.
Okay, ma'am.
People who are getting those 2 projects, they can draw in their own way. So this is not the only way to express that thing. So once I complete this, you have to start your card.
Ma'am, that means you mean next week, by next week,
The next, yes, probably.
by next lab, or
Next lab, I think it's not possible. I couldn't finish, right?
yes, ma'am.
There are other diagrams too.
More 8
Once I
diagrams are left.
yes. A use case diagram and a class diagrams, object diagram. 3 diagrams we completed. The component and object, this one. Component diagram and deployment. These 2 diagrams actually it's very simple. It needs just 5 minutes. So I will finish those. And coming to behavioral sequence collaborations, the next one more class is enough. Use case already finished. Sequence collaboration, state chart, and activity I will explain. And in the next lab, after that, you have to draw using Star UML. Okay, so you have to download Star UML app software. Okay, first you have to download from the internet, and we can try in lab once. Then when you present the project, you have to show the UML diagrams which you draw using Star UML, not using and so 2 more class I need. One class I will give you to practice UML diagrams using Star UML. And next class, when you start your project, you have to show the diagrams which you created using Star Yoga. Okay. You can share the screen and you can explain. You can discuss. It's not like a presentation. You have to come up with your diagrams and we'll discuss. If anything is missing, I will explain. Every class I'm planning for one project. I don't know whether we have these many classes. We'll see. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So next is component diagram. Which screen is it visible to you?
Yes, ma'am. Screen is visible.
A component diagram.
Component diagram.
Oh, yes. It contains the components and the relationships. It's very simple thing. It's an overview of the system. It's an outside view. How the system looks. Not going to the internal details. Simply, this is the component simple. The simple you can see in the Star UML. It's available. Let me show you. When you click on component diagram, you can see this component symbol is there. This is the component symbol. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So here we are representing the relationship between different components in the system. These components together we call as system. Okay. So when you draw these components in the system, we can use, okay, that I will explain. You can use first in this way. You can In this way, you can you can draw the components inside the package. Then all these components coming inside the particular folder. Okay, so here there is an ATM machine. There is a cash dispenser, all are hardware components and software components. Card validator, ATM network, and card reader. These are depend on one on another. So we can use the dependency symbol. That's it. It's ATM. These are parts of some are software components, some are hardware components. Okay, you can include some software components too. Here we showed only the software hardware components. You can even include the software components too. So that is a very simple diagram. What are the possible components and what are the interrelationships between those components? That we are representing in the component diagram. Represent the implementation. How we are implementing the hardware. That we are representing using the component diagram. Then next is deployment diagram. Deployment diagram means at last we are hand over the system, right? So how it's functioning means the physical entities we are explaining here. This also same like, but here we call it as a node. Nodes, the relationships between the nodes we are not between components, between nodes. Each and every node contain different components. So this is the outside view of the system. An ATM node will be the cash dispenser, log device, printer, a receipt printer, card reader, display will be there, keypad will be there, network interface. Because when you come to the ATM counter, as a user, you can see all these parts, right? There will be a keypad, there will be a display, there will be a cash dispenser, there is a printer, a card reader, and interfaces will be there, network interfaces will be there, and a network server will be there. So how those nodes are means connected to each other. That is the deployment diagram. Component means inside software thing also. Software component, hardware component relationships we are explaining in component diagram. Each and every node contain multiple components. But here, node represent hardware things, hardware parts, and how they are connecting together. As a user, when you go to an ATM counter, what are the portions visible and how they are interacting? There no need to worry about the relationships. You can only give simple association and relationships. Association, you can take as relationship. These are called nodes. Nodes means if you want to comment something, you can use a node part here. Here the processor speed is mentioned, memory speed, like that. If you want to explain any characteristics in detail, you can give a note. This part is not mandatory, but you can give if you want. So this is the way we are drawing the component and deployment diagram. For every project, this may not be possible. This component is not needed. Actually, it's possible, but not needed for designing. When it comes to designing, all the sign diagrams are not mandatory. But some diagrams like class, object, sequential, collaboration, state chart diagrams and use case diagrams are mandatory. But deployment component diagrams are optional. It's not mandatory for all the projects. Generally, we are using these diagrams for a complex structure. So this is the main behavior, not behavioral diagrams, structural diagrams, class, object, component, and deployment diagrams. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear or not?
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't understand, I will repeat. No problem. Do you remember the use case diagram? Use case diagram comes under behavioral diagram, and this was the use case diagram for the ATM that we discussed. This symbol is called operator, customer, bank are called actors, and these are called use cases. And the relationship between the use cases and the actor, that is representing using association, generalization, whatever the relationships you learn that you can use. And another extend and include operations we explained. Extend, generally we are going for the exceptional cases. Like generally you need a pin validation. If it is not possible and invalid pin happens, then you can go for extend operation. Include operation means the possible inclusions that you can. For example, if the transaction, maybe there may be a withdrawal, deposit, transfer inquiry, the multiple operations are possible. In such type of situation, you can go for an include operation. So that we explained in the last class. Just for remembrance, I repeated. I will share the notes with you once I complete. Is it clear? The next class I will finish sequence diagram, collaboration diagram, state chart diagram, and activity diagram. This is swimlane activity, and one more activity diagram we can do that I will show you. Very simple, right? How do you feel? Is it simple or not? Only thing is that this part you have to do before a development. So this is the input for coding. When you write the coding part, you as a developer, you could identify, okay, these many classes are needed. These are the relation between different models. You don't need to read the entire document. Just go through the UML diagrams. You will get the clear picture about the system. That is the main motto behind this designing tools and designing part. Modeling and designing actually, not the actual implementation. It's an input to the implementation, actual implementation. Okay. So this will help the developer to understand the system and the system requirements. This is the intention. So the number of requirements included, the number of classes included, the operations included, the attributes included, depends, it varies from system to system. Okay. We are going for a general system here. For example, a point of sale system, but based on the shops, based on the shop structure, if it is a small scale, small shop or a medium type shop or a big shop with more facilities, this will vary. So each and every product is customized thing, but we are going for a general use. Even every single project now we are going to do is vary from one to another. It's not a common thing. Even for airport implementation also, some are common, but the facilities are different. From airport to airport also the facilities difference is there. So go for the general structure. Okay. So any other doubts? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
No doubts. Okay, within the next class, I will complete the remaining diagrams And again, next week, you can go for the star UML. Before that, everybody has to download. Download the star UML software, which is available in the internet. Okay, then adaptation, you can, if it is Apple computer, there is different versions are there. You just check it before downloading, which is a Microsoft operating system, which is higher than grade 7. I think it will be different. So based on that, you should choose the versions while installing. Okay, it's very small software. You can download within 5 minutes. Okay, then see you in the next class. And the remaining students, I think my section, K section student has to continue here. Your CN class is there, right? I section students can leave. K section students, in your Moodle, is it visible that ma'am's class is visible? Sandhya ma'am's class is visible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then join in class. I will take that class. Yesterday we exchanged those classes. Yesterday she took my class. So today I will. Okay then. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.